Cavecast, the uncensored show for nerds of all kinds.
That's one of the reasons why I loved shaving my head, because I never had to worry about anything. I just like walk into the bathroom, look at my hair, non-hair, and I just go, yeah, and then just walk out the door. So
ready for the day.
Some of us don't have a perfectly shaped head, Kyle.
I think my head's oblong. That's just me though. So
Nah, you actually could rock it. Yeah, you can actually rock it.
one day I want to do Liberty spikes. That'd be really cool. You know,
Liberty spikes?
I want to do green ones. You know, like my Tony Hawk Pro Skater character. You know, so it's who I've not touched in many years. So yeah,
they're actually just playing that the other night at the house.
Oh really?
Yeah, Nico and Meg.
No shit.
I heard him in there getting his ass kicked. Meg was whooping that ass on some tag they were playing on there. Yeah,
Whooping that.
yeah. I was like,
my
you letting
God.
him in? She's like, no.
No, well, especially too with them being kids that you would think that it would be like, no, dude, like they're going to be much better than, you know, the conventional adult, but it's like, nah, man, it's like you got to bring it, no mercy. So
Exactly.
that's how it should be.
Dude, with Tony Hawk, man, like we were so ahead of the curve, man. Like we had like the simplest shit, but it was so fucking dope. Like I spent hours. I don't know if you guys played on like the OG Xbox, but there's this snowboarding game called Amp 2.
Yeah.
It was like the
I did not know.
I burnt fucking hours and years off my life playing that shit till like 3 a.m, dude, because you could do the sickest fucking grinds, the sickest fucking flips. And it's like, no matter what you did, you always discovered something new. And you're just like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah, dude.
It's
That shit was that was one of the other ones other than when you stepped it up from like Jet Moto and stuff from the 64. Oh yeah, man.
See, the one I remember from the N64 was 1080.
1080 was the shit.
That was because it's like only because of the title card of it, like 1080. Yeah. And then, like, it would just like do its thing. So, but I remember I actually there was at one point, I can't remember how long we had the game, but I do know that I thought I was doing something where it was like, oh, I'm gonna just make a new save or whatever. I deleted all of his saves for 1080 and I felt terrible. So I was like, oh God. That was how long of progress was that on that?
It was a solid like probably month or two of like me and yeah. And
okay.
like and saves were a lot different back in those days.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Holy shit, dude.
No backup, no external.
No,
No, dude. No, it's because it's like that whole thing when people are like, oh, it's like choose your memory card. It's like, what's a memory card? Get out. It's like, I don't even want to deal with you right now. So.
Fuck out, dude.
These kids have
Like-
no idea.
Dude, like again, fucking the other day, Thanksgiving dinner, I brought my brother a fucking stack of GameCube games and a memory card. I'm like, okay, which one is ours? Because I don't fucking know. It's been years since I looked at these things, bro.
Yeah,
like it's wild, dude. Like I remember the days when we could just pop the fucking disc in and it just worked.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get how we're in 2024, almost 2025, and I have to buy a $70 game and still do the exact same process with my disc. I might as well just buy the fucker on digital. Now I still have to download the shit with the disc. And how does that make sense, technology?
Well, I think that probably, I don't know, see what you guys think about this, but maybe it's one of those things where like with games being more high quality that it's like they need to be like downloaded or something. I'm not arguing for it because I hate it, but it's because I want to be able to just pop in a disc too, but like that, maybe that's it.
Look, man,
So-
what I'm saying is I get what you're saying, but the technology is so advanced. You can look at a motherfucker on your phone in real time. Don't tell me you need to download a stupid fucking 150 gigabyte game with a disc and have it in there. Go fuck yourself, Microsoft and Panasonic and Sony.
Panasonic.
Like, I forgot Sony's name for a second and blurted out Panasonic. Shut up.
Fuck your systems and fuck your TVs too.
We're just angry at all tech tonight.
All of it.
Man, so like, actually, Rage, what was your favorite game just to pop in besides Amped? Like what was your main go-to when you were a kid?
Okay, so do you want like professionally or do you want like my
Both.
childhood aura? And like,
Yeah, both.
everything that, I guess,
Both of them, man.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I would like to say, and my brother's probably gonna flame the shit out of me for saying this, but I would like to say pro gamer wise was very early on. I was like 6 years old. It was Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. Like, I played the fuck out of that shit, dude. Like I got to hell mode by the time I was 7 years old, bro. Like I'm telling you, no fucking joke. Like I understood it on levels that I probably shouldn't have at a very fucking early age.
Pose for it.
Yeah, there we go.
And I was just so fucking in it, you know? But the biggest game that I think like just kind of like kicked off everything that I love was probably anything related to Legend of Zelda.
Sure. Well, I saw
Really?
Ocarina of Time and like Majora's Mask, all that stuff. Yeah.
Majora's
I've never played any Zelda
Bruh.
game ever.
Oh, buddy.
Kyle.
You had the Majora's Mask?
Shit.
Oh my God.
Bruh. Yeah, it is my brother got it for me for my birthday when I was like 24 or 25. The whole thing is made out of complete resin. It's wearable. The eyes are like literally crystal.
Oh,
and the
shit.
spikes are kind of like a rubber silicone. But it like, dude, it's fucking gorgeous. Like it's wearable. You can see everything. It's
Huh.
dope, dude. And it's like heavy artillery.
Oh,
It's heavy artillery.
Hell yeah.
Where can I get one? So
I
that's-
think he got it off of Etsy, I believe. Somebody made it personally.
oh, really?
Yeah. It's dude in the details in like the wood scuffs and everything, and like the detail of like the stain inside of like the cracks of the wood are fucking so authentic. It's not just like a random ass paint. Like somebody
Dude.
put hours in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fucker.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
dude.
Okay.
Man.
Probably
this-
one of the coolest things I've ever received, honestly. Because,
Really?
like, dude, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. If I have to nail down my favorite game I've ever played of all time, it is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite game I've
Okay.
ever played, because I went from playing Ocarina of Time, which was full of hope, which was full of, a story that had so much substance and you had enough time. This one, the same hero from that game is in the woods looking for his best friend that is gone now, and runs into Skull Kid, who is wearing the Majora's Mask, who then flips him into another dimension. And the first thing he tells you is like, "Oh, you're looking for your horse? I got rid of it." Basically, he slit its fucking throat, dude. Like he got rid of it.
Dude,
And
that's-
then
the
he
tone
throws you
is
into
so
another
different.
dimension entirely, where you have 3 fucking days that you are timed to beat the entire game before fucking time runs out and a whole moon crashes on a city and wipes out humanity.
Oh, so that's what it is?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
It's like a time travel game. So it's one of those, because wasn't it? It's like, spoiler alert for anybody that's not played it, but like there's the Titans that you essentially have to get out of each temple to essentially stop the moon from coming down. But it's like you have to go back after you've completed the temple and go back to the beginning of the day. So
Yep.
it's like
Way to ruin it for me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
only
it's
been
like-
out 30 years.
dude. You've had plenty of times.
I'm gonna be bringing my GameCube in July, and I'm bringing Smash Bros with me. I'm bringing the collector's edition of Zelda. I'm bringing fucking Wind Waker. I'm bringing fucking Twilight Princess. I'm
Dude.
bringing fucking everything, bro.
There's a place in Medina that is probably going to have all of my money. It's smaller, but like it's got a lot of stuff, because like there's like the place like Toys Time Forgotten and whatnot. But so we were in there the other day, and we got to the one section, dude. There is a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, a Dreamcast, an N64.
Dreamcast.
I'm pretty sure there was a couple Game Boys. Like I might buy a Game Boy.
Dude, I'm breaking up. You gotta slow down. Slow down.
Oh, God.
Too much foreplay, guys. Slow down.
I can only recharge so much.
Yeah.
Like seriously, dude. Like anything old school was just the best. Like I played games probably nobody's fucking heard of, like Metal Arms Glitch in the System. That was like a game I put fucking hours into on the OG Xbox.
Oh my God.
Fucking Metal Gear Solid, the first one, the very first
He
Metal
was just
Gear
playing
Solid,
that.
dude.
Like,
Yeah, dude, I actually impulse bought. It was more like a comfort buy, but they have like, it's like the remastered version. It's the 1, 2, and 3 that you can get on the PS5. So I ended up getting that. That's
was it only like $30?
yeah, it was super cheap. It was really, really nice. It was just, to me, it's like that was a Metal Gear Solid was a game that I played so much as a kid that it was like trying to find any way to break the game, where it's like, okay, like what
Sure.
decisions can I make, or what can I find, or can I find the Nikita missiles early, or can I find the PSG-1, like, can I find that early, things like that. And
Yeah.
and then obviously like as 2 came out and then the whole like Raiden controversy happened, and then 3 was a prequel, and then it was just all the stuff. And then I did play through 4. I played through it once just to finish the story, but I do need to actually like get my hands on it again, because I know the camo in that was just wild. They kind of like put all of the concepts and put them all into one. So it was just so good, dude.
Yeah.
yeah,
see,
like another thing. What's up?
oh no, I was like, I never got into the Metal Gear Solids and stuff. man.
They're not for everybody.
either, though.
Well, because it's like that whole idea where people are like, oh, it's like it's a shoot 'em up game. It's like, no, it's a stealth game. It's like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
Splinter
yeah.
Cell. It's a whole different thing,
I put hours, unhealthy fucking hours, in like sleepless school fucking nights playing Splinter Cell fucking Chaos Theory with my brother, dude. That was like,
Same with me and Brad.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Because
Chaos
that was
Theory
that was the co-op one, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
We had to like
It was-
hit each other's backs and like crawl up the wall and shit. Yeah, dude, it was
What
fire.
the fuck is up?
Yeah. And then our
dude.
army of 2, me and John, put countless hours. I remember we were up on the one like rooftop on like the sky, on like the broken
I'm gonna
skyscraper or something, dude. Man, 2 days I went down there in a row because we could not and then we found out it was like, just go to the left. It was one of those.
God. You're unlocking so many core memories because now all I want to do is talk about nostalgia of video games and midnight releases and the greatness of all of it.
Dude, that's another thing that doesn't
Seriously.
happen is that you don't have that. I think the last time, and it was still even years in between all this, that I remember going for like a kind of midnight release was Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When we both went in Wadsworth to the GameStop,
Like
and they
2017,
opened up,
right?
Dude, and that was such a crazy night too, because I know that it was one of those that mind you, Eric and I were not living together at that point.
Yeah.
So like we were like, all right, man, like, well, let's go meet up and like let's go ahead and like, get this game, because we didn't know what the hell it was. Nobody did. It was like, what is this
Kojima's
experience
next
going to
big
be?
epic.
Right. And it's in the fact that he had like complete autonomy just to be like, this is going to be exactly what I want it to be. And weirdly enough, we drove through Wadsworth when there were a bunch of cops. Apparently there was like a big like shooting that happened there the night that we went to go get it.
like directly drove right by it, like as it was happening. We're like, do buying video games like virgin nerds.
So like
People are shooting people.
but it was so weird because that was an experience because I'm really curious as to your first experience with that game, because I know that when I got home, I downloaded it, and then obviously you downloaded it. We got it good to go. Because there was even a rumor that said that it was going to be like 4 discs or something. People were like freaking out, like, oh God, how big is this game going to be? But we actually played it on the phone together for like the first like 20 minutes. And we're like, oh, sweet, like there's a package over here. Where's this? But like, what was your experience with Death Stranding the first time you got your hands on it?
So I, believe it or not, have not played a lot of Death Stranding a lot.
Okay.
I know a lot of the gameplay. I know the story, which was fucking mind bending because I'm just like, dude, what? Like, who thinks about this shit? But then I also remembered Guillermo del Toro is also attached to the shit, so I'm not surprised.
Right.
But a lot of it was just getting past like, the meta aspect of holy shit, this is literally Norman Reedus. Holy shit, this is literally fucking Mads Mikkelsen, two of my favorite actors at this point. They're high on my list.
Yeah.
So I'm getting past that. I'm getting past the fact that Guillermo del Toro is literally in this game too. But it was also like, a lot of like the story shit, with Cliff being your dad the whole time. The baby that you're carrying is Norman Reedus, I guess. Like it's fucking weird. It's a really it was a very weird experience, but I was like, okay, this is Kojima. Now, what a lot of people don't talk about, but I mean, I can't really say that either because a lot of people do talk about it. And there's been some echoes going around about it coming back, is the canceled game that came before Death Stranding, which was PT.
Silent Hills. Yeah.
With fucking Norman Reedus at the helm of being the main character of that game, dude.
Even I've heard certain things where I was like, is he going to be in a Silent Hill game?
That was honestly one of the weirdest times. I mean, essentially, PT
2014.
Well, because it was like PT was essentially a big fuck you to Konami, and it was just like, oh my God, like they didn't even like proofread it or anything. They're like, yeah, just make a demo, whatever. And it was like, oh no, we're doing this. And it was just like, all right, I'm out. I'm going to go make Death Stranding now. And it was like, dude, this is so crazy.
I remember when you were talking about that, you were like, hey man, check this out. And I was like,
terrifying.
I was like, sweet, when's it coming out? And he was like, it's not. I'm like, what do you mean it's not? He was like, this was literally just a ball buster. And he was like, he's making this game. And like, he was telling me about it. And then it was like a year later, the game came out.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Until like later, I'm like, oh,
it was
he was a big fuck you. Yeah.
It was like a big fuck you, but I also kind of also saw it as like, I feel like Kojima's like first time using like mocap and like facial movement and like actually using like an actor's face, because that really became a prominent thing when LA Noire came out. That was like the first big game that really utilized all of that, and like you like actually facial scanning people's actors' face, letting them act out the scenes and all of that shit. So the fucking reveal at the end of PT was insane because nobody saw that shit coming. Nobody, dude. So that was a collab for the century that never happened, and that is the biggest what if.
So I am curious, is that like, what way did you beat PT? Because I found like three of the like 12 ways that you can do it or whatever it is. So like how did you get past it?
Oh, I didn't play.
Oh, you didn't play it? Oh my
didn't
God.
play.
Good man. Yes. That's probably the smartest decision. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm a fucking pussy, dude. I saw the first fucking playthrough. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not putting myself through that shit. Fuck no.
Oh, man.
But yeah, we
I did it
play
with
Faz.
Outlast. I did it with Outlast. I did it with Slenderman. I did it with Slender the Arrival. Was not putting myself through it with
He-
fucking PT.
He played all the Outlast games.
Yeah.
And that was like when when you guys were talking about Faz, I'm like, dude, I don't like games where you can't, like, there is no like defense, but
Yeah.
it's way different with the Fazes and stuff like that. With his, it was a turnoff that you're not, there's no microphone involved like that, but like you're just the person on, with the sticks and playing around. That did nothing for me. Now watching him play,
Yes.
It's a whole different.
was cool, but like as me being like, I'm gonna spend $50 on a game. No thanks, man. I'm cool. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'll watch somebody else do it. But I think they're cool in the sense of being scary. I think the games like Faz and things like we play have a different like depth to them.
Yeah,
though.
they do. Yeah. Because I think it's like the fact of taking it in the investigation route where it's like it kind of lets you vicariously live through like what Ghost Hunters should have been.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Like you're actually doing something though. Yes, we can't fight back, but we're like, we need to be quiet.
Yeah.
And we are where there's a purpose on like why we're there. Not, oh, you got locked in by a bunch of cannibals, run out. Like, so
That's kind of how I like Panicore too, though. Like,
Yeah.
I like the fucking, like, you have to hide, you can't
Yes.
fight back really, but there's like an initiative, like there's not just like you have to fucking fuel the jet, you have to find
Yeah.
the key somewhere that's in this big ass building, you got to fucking get all the parts. Like, there's something about those games that are very compelling to me where I just want to like drift towards them because
Same.
I love Fortnite. I fucking love Call of Duty, and I have
But-
to feel like a mindset to really melt it, but I need substance,
Yeah.
which I feel like a lot of games are lacking nowadays. because,
100%.
like, they're focusing on graphics, they're focusing on movements instead of like focusing on a solid story, a solid co-op, a solid
Agreed.
campaign for once,
Yeah. Well, I think it's actually like it's frustrating too because I mean, besides like, companies that are doing it right, like obviously like Naughty Dog, like takes their time and they make, I wouldn't say perfect games, but they make great games. But a lot of the AAA titles that have come out, like, I mean, bar few and none, it's like they just haven't done well. Like, it's like they're glitchy as fuck. They're never ready. They release them before patches are made. And like, even like when you brought home the Avengers.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Cyberpunk.
Or so
Dude,
that
was
that
the
too.
biggest fucking letdown. Avengers was a big letdown. Fucking Midnight Suns, I heard, was a big letdown. Fucking
Forspoken. Yeah.
Suicide Squad
Oh,
was
yeah.
a letdown. And bitch, I was excited for all of those games, and I've played none of them because I've just heard nothing but awful
Yeah.
things. I'm like, dude, I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to fucking jump through loops just to play a really shitty game, and that's
Right.
unfortunate.
Right.
Do you know what game I've never played? Other than like moments in time, and I get a lot of shit for it sometimes. I have never sat down for more than probably 5 minutes collectively and played any Grand Theft Auto game.
Oh, dude.
Really,
Dude,
Me
never.
too.
It's
I mean, I've
it's a
played-
fun world to get lost in.
I'm a Saints Row guy because there's a
Never
lot of
played.
solid story. There's a lot of solid story there. Like, it's not for everybody. Like, a lot of people hated the new Saints Row from like 2021. I fucking love that shit, dude. When Ash fucking fucked up her ankle for the second time and she was out of work for like a fucking 2 weeks, bro, we no-lifed the fuck out of Saints Row. And I'm like, dude, I miss this shit so much because it had a really good like co-op system where you could deck out this fucking crib, deck your cars out and, like, to the fucking little details. And I'm like, this is what I missed. Like, I missed having something to do. I miss having almost like a purpose in this different world I'm
Sure.
I'm invested in, and I feel like that's why I'm like so turned off by a lot of games nowadays. Like, I find myself revisiting fucking Guitar Hero and I'm having a fucking blast.
I haven't. Yeah, dude. And we don't have any of that stuff. Or like, do they make that for like the new Xbox and new
No.
PlayStation and stuff? I don't think they do.
No, it's like you have to get like an emulator or you have to have an original system to be able to play it on.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, we
that's
have a
fucking
Wii we
wild.
played on. Like, I have to get another guitar and shit for the Xbox just to get fucking Guitar Hero 2. Like, it's wild.
Dude, and that's what's fucked up is that like I never thought those games would be like like discontinued in a sense where like they didn't follow others. Yeah, like other systems, because then they had like the DJ one, dude. That one looked fire.
There was DJ Hero. I mean, then you also had like Rock Band, where like, because even like
drums
like our brother CJ, like for the drums, he was like, dude, he's like, I beat the entire game on drums on expert. He's like, because he's a drummer in real life, so it was like, dude, like this is wild, dude.
Like, bro, like, could you imagine a fucking Guitar Hero metalcore fucking shit? Like, do you understand how lost I would be in that shit? Like, I would play nothing but that, dude. I'd be like, fuck all y'all. I'm playing Guitar Hero, bro.
I wonder if they'll bring it back, like in the sense, in the future, and have things on there like Sleep Token and Slaughter to Prevail and 21 Pilots and things like that.
Preach.
Like, could you no, seriously, could you imagine if they had shit like that, if they bring it back? Because I feel like, when it comes to video games, okay, it's funny because like, yeah, you have the first person shooters and the Fortnites and all this shit, but like, I really feel like games are a lot of times geared towards the older generation now.
Right.
Because it's the ones that play these games. Think about it. What game has really come out that appeals to a 12-year-old? Nothing.
Fortnite.
That's what I'm saying. Other than Fortnite, like what really comes out on a regular basis anymore? It doesn't. So if they were smart, they would gear things like these games that are kind of discontinued again, because people like us would buy it up.
Right.
For example, Guitar Hero, bro. Like all you have to do is digitally put it back on the store, open the servers again, and make downloadable content. That's all you have to fucking do.
And as long as you start remaking some of the controllers with it, like people like us would be like, oh, a controller's $80. Well, I'll buy the guitar. Like we would do it.
Give me a Gibson. Give me a Les Paul. Give me fucking mad shit.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because wasn't it there was also a game called Rocksmith that like it taught you how to play guitar?
Yeah,
like it had like
guitar.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I never got to mess with it. I mean, you would think that being a guitarist, I'd like fuck around with it at some point. But no, I think it was just I just didn't have the money for it. But like that was kind of an interesting concept where it was like, oh God, like this is the right way to play Stairway to Heaven. This is the right way. Like, and now the game is going to grade you, and if you don't finish your performance, you fail.
Right.
So it's like, oh my God, like it's a whole different kind of pressure with it. It's so cool.
Yeah. And it bred actual musicians from a fucking video game. Like, dude, come on. Like, that's fucking awesome.
That shit's crazy. Like the fact of like how our video games have evolved over time is pretty wild, because, think about it. Like, I like kind of played Atari a little bit, like when I was a kid,
Atari.
like kind of. But it was Nintendos were like the big thing right then. So they like had already progressed. But man, it's just, it trips me out. The one thing I've talked about this before that trips me out and actually pisses me the fuck off.
Ooh, preach it.
Why in 1994 did we have on all game systems, Segas, NESs, Nintendos, all this real life motherfuckers in Mortal Kombat?
Right.
And now I get this digital cartoon bullshit.
They had their way of making sprites back then, like almost like Doom or whatever, where it was like almost like stop motion or whatever. So,
it is 2024. I shouldn't download a fucking game with a disc, and Norman Reedus better be just in the game. It shouldn't be no motion capture. They did it 30 years ago. They used to be ones where you have like in the shotguns and people like at the bar, like they were in there too. What the fuck, man? Remember Panasonic?
Panasonic's going to get a very angry letter from the Cavecast.
You'll be like, what the fuck?
Signed EM.
No clue
why
who
does
we are.
Eminem hate us? So let's.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
So unprovoked, so unwarranted.
Video games are now awesome with real people, and everybody's gonna think Eminem did it, and he'd be like, I didn't do shit.
But knowing he probably just take the credit because it's a residual for him to be able to make more.
Right.
He can make more albums, so we'll give that to him. So
Fucking wild.
Oh god, yeah, it's just
fun fact, like rooting all the way back to Zelda though. I never played, and this is gonna be real wild. I never played or enjoyed anything after Twilight Princess.
See, it's my main thing was just Ocarina of Time, like because I only played like the beginning of Majora's because it was one of those that I think at the time there was just life stuff that I just wasn't able to play as a kid just because there was a lot of stuff going on. But The one thing I do remember, and him and I have talked about this, was that so my biological dad is is a huge techie. Like he, has worked with computers his entire life, and every time we would get a new video game or even like the DVDs and stuff with the behind the scenes, he was the one that like got us into seeing like the behind the scenes and like got us to like
got us into technology in general,
right? Like Carmageddon, Full Throttle, Doom, Quake, like all that old stuff. Like we had that on like the old, like I don't know if they were Macintoshes or like whatever the old like thick screens were,
like Dells and like shit like that.
Yeah, but But no, it's interesting to me, like just like the process of everything. I had a place I was going to with that, and I can't remember. So, but
playing video games probably just all the like stuff that we would get because that's just what got us into it.
But yeah, so I had a grander point, but either way, but no, it's like that old vintage stuff. Like we even got a Full Throttle on the, I think it was either on the computer or on the one of the PlayStations or something, like like in the past couple of years, and it was
Xbox.
Or was it Xbox? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was cool to see these old vintage things where it's like, man, like it doesn't hold up with like today's graphics, but the game still holds up. Like there's challenge. It's artistic. It's fun. Like, it's just good shit, man. It's awesome.
There's something about revisiting old games though, man. Like if you ever get the time, play through Majora's Mask, go through that fucking headache because dude, even back then, I knew early on that smashing screens was my calling because fucking Majora's Mask, dude. There has been it's like unbelievably fucking frustrating the shit that they put you through during that game. And mind you, that was the fucking successor to fucking Ocarina of Time, which was like this beautiful cinematic masterpiece. Basically, like, all right, we're gonna turn this bitch into a horror film, and it's even gonna make your entire life a fucking horror film.
Right.
And it's awful, dude. Like it's so good though because it really does kind of put a whole new perspective on like all the characters that you thought you knew because a lot of them return, but they're not under the same identity.
Right.
Like they don't have the same names that they did in like the other alternate universe and shit. And like there's like without spoiling it, but there's like this one part of the game that you actually have to do, and it's like you really can't go forward or get your horse back if you don't do it. Where there's like this alien invasion and you have to like, and they're trying to take the cows.
Shit.
Stop them.
My God. Not the cows.
Yeah, dude, from like midnight until 6 a.m. You have to defend this farm from these aliens from fucking taking these cows and shit. And if they do, they also take the fucking girl from the Lon Lon Ranch, remember?
Oh my God.
Dude, they abduct her and then you find her the next day and her memory is wiped. Like entirely, bro. It's entirely white.
I think that there's something to be said about like the games back then that did that because it was like there was something about the fact that you had to read everything. Like nothing was like voice acted or like, so it's like they could do big moments like that where it's like, oh, this character that had so much development now is just a shell of themselves and move on. Now we're going to get this medallion. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, can we just acknowledge what the fuck just happened back there? Like, it's intense, dude.
Dude, I think that was one of the most intense games I've played at a very early age, where also at a really early age, I realized that Japan is really fucked up when it comes to their stories because, dude, I was traumatized by half of that fucking game, man.
Yeah, man.
Dude, probably one of the earliest on games that I would say probably was like the most difficult and rage filling was Aladdin.
Oh, for the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, Aladdin. Dude, for the Sega Genesis. Yeah, that and like Battletoads and Kid Chameleon.
God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's because the one thing I remember was playing Aladdin and like getting so far because like it does follow the movie and there's like a moment that you get to I think it's like when the musical number happens with the genie and like now it's
you're
like,
in the dude,
it's like all of like the things of like the magic carpets and stuff like and everything that you see in the movie is now either an obstacle or is something that can kill you. And it's like you have to like get through it and it's almost like kind of like that game that they made. It's like a rage game where it's called I Quit. Where it's like it's just so intense and there's so many things. So Happy Wheels. Oh God.
Oh, Happy Wheels. Oh my God, dude! I've lost brain cells. I've almost literally screamed belligerency in the fucking air. Nothing, looking like a fucking straight up psychopath playing that game for 20 minutes, bro. Like it is so fucking infuriating.
You had one like that with what was it? I Am Bread.
I Am Bread. Have you ever played that one?
No, but I've seen a fucking pissed off 6-year-old play it, and it's honestly a lot more. It's honestly a lot more entertaining watching a kid flip the fuck out over that game than any grown man. It is fucking hilarious, dude. It is hilarious.
It's actually a good question I have for you guys, because I know mine. But what's the angriest you've ever been in a video game? Like when either you got physical or like when you've thrown a controller or like whatever. Like what was
which time?
What I will say is that mine. I've not done it a lot, but I do know the one time, in fact, that it happened. Mom walked in on me while I was having my fucking rage fit, and she was like, "You're grounded. You're done. You're not playing video games." I'm like, "No, like you can't. I just no." And it was like I was just so pissed, and like so it was like a week and a half of just like stewing on it till I got back, and then I got pissed again and never went back. So like,
I remember one time when I had I think it must have been, was it Mario? I think it was Mario, and I had my Game Boy, and it pissed me off, and I headbutted it and cracked the screen. Yeah.
Now you have no game.
Yeah, bro, I was pissed. But then like Christmas came like 2 months later, and I got a new one. But I said that I cracked it on my bed from dropping it. I remember I lied. I straight up lied to Mom. She was like, "Well, how did that happen?" And I'm like, "Well, don't tell her you headbutted it." Like, I was like, "Motherfucker!"
So, what was there any like glass shards or anything, or was it?
No, I was crispy clean. That's why I got away with it. I had cat like speed and reflexes, dude. I Chuck Norris the shit out of it.
Like I have plenty of like fucking COD stories. I have plenty of
dude,
all of those stories. But I could tell you like the one like unnecessary story. So I think this might be like my first time talking about this like ever. So my first Nintendo DS when it was like the first gen. It was the blue fucking one. And it was fucking probably the coolest thing I ever owned. And this was like right after I got it almost. Like I got it for Christmas. Shit was broken by fucking February.
Oh God.
And it was so unnecessary and it was so unwarranted, and it's gonna
it's all right, save space, you're good. So
so this is gonna sound so fucking stupid, but you remember that game Nintendogs?
No.
So it's when you owned a fucking dog, took care of it, like brought it through fucking like
okay
courses and like obedience classes. So I put so this is gonna sound so fucking dumb, but I was infuriated, bro. And I remember seeing fucking red. And I remember, so I was spending like fucking weeks trying to like win this. Like, there was like the highest level of this obedience class, and I had this fucking Chihuahua like fucking maxed out. Like, I almost like you would think I fucking pumped steroids into this bitch. Like, it was like. This is attempt number like 93 at this point, and I'm already like fucking. I've cried 5 times.
Yeah.
Fucking, I've yelled into my pillow. I've started straight up punching my fucking like. Mind you, I'm like fucking 10, bro.
Late bloomer.
I thought I had finally fucking won this shit. Out of fucking nowhere, boom, second place. Screamed, snapped the fucking thing in half. From the fucking screen, just snapped it in half. Chucked it at the wall.
I've been there.
Let it win, dude. Let the fucking win,
bro.
If I can't win, nobody can.
Worth it. I used to make deals with God to like help me win Street Fighter.
So
yeah, dude. So let me kick him Bison's ass. Come on.
Better person.
Funnily enough, Street Fighter 2 was actually the reason I got grounded in this.
Yeah, dude.
Because
I know the rage.
It was the only time that I ever made it to the final boss.
Yeah, bro.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, it was, mind you, this was, I think, like a week of whittling of like to like get further and further every time. And all I remember was getting into that ring and just being like, here we go. And then he just went, and I went,
yeah.
I'm like, I didn't even get a chance. And I threw.
It's the end, Kyle.
I threw the controller on the ground and started stomping on it with both feet, like jumping on it like this. I was like, God, no. And Mom came down the steps into the base. It was on the old house.
Yeah.
And she came down those steps and she went, what are you doing? And I went, I lost. So I was just like, I don't know if I got grounded because I raged or if I got grounded because I screamed.
Both. Dude, I remember, dude, that game was infuriating. I would be in my room upstairs, and because I had my little 21-inch TV or whatever it was, and I'd be standing right up close to that fucker like this. Well, you had to. We didn't have cordless fucking controllers back in my day. But anyways, I would sit there and I would make deals with God, and then when I learned, fine, you don't want me to win. I would be so pissed. Is this what you want? I was so mad, dude. I would get so pissed. And then because I would days, I'd be kicking Balrog's ass and fucking all this shit. Fuck it. That and it was on PlayStation. It was on Tekken. Tekken 2. Fuck that game. The same shit. I'd be sitting there. That game was the first time. I just actually remember this the other day. That was the first time I ever swore in front of like Mom and Randy.
Oh God.
I remember distinctly I was downstairs in the same house and above Subway. And Grandpa Jerry was over and Grandma Shirley. And I remember I was in the living room and it wasn't working. And somebody said something, Randy said something about what's wrong. I was like, this is pissing me off. And I remember going, all right, let me see because I like stopped for a second. I'm like, what are they going to do?
How old were you at the time?
Like 11.
Okay. I didn't know if you were like in like pre-pubescent or if it was like, into like teenage years.
11, 12 years old. And I remember going, smooth one. It wasn't a harsh one. Just snuck it in there. But like, and then your Grandpa Jerry was like, rather be pissed off than pissed on. Yeah. And that's when I knew I wasn't going to get in trouble. So but it was Tekken. It was Tekken 2.
Oh God. That's just, man, I think that it's the same equivalent of like when people are like, people that don't have children, you think you've been angry. It's like, but like, no, man, it's like until you've played a game that is supposed to be nothing but good and it just betrays you in every fucking way it possibly can. It's
what
just
was
so
a game
terrible.
like that for me?
It came out in 95. So I would have been, like 12.
Okay. Yeah.
I think for me that game for a while was Morrowind until I finally like bucked up and stopped being such a pussy about like exploring and like finding like learning how to use a compass at fucking 9 years old just to find the next place I'm going because Todd Howard's like, all right, you know what? No check marks. You're gonna explore this entire bitch till you find everything. And I'm like, okay, another sleepless nights, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You watched the sun come up and had no shame.
I have not done that in a long time.
The sun go down.
Bro, I've been actually thinking about doing something. And now whether I don't think I will game the whole night, but I've been thinking about doing, I don't know if I'm going to be ballsy enough to do a 24-hour stream. But I've thought about doing at least a solid 12. But I was like, one of those, I have not seen one of those where I've seen the sun come up gaming all night type thing. It's been a long time.
Well, I think, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you do that, let me know a date because if I know ahead of time, if you want to do like a sundown to sun up, like a fucking like a midnight to 8 a.m., I'll fucking pull it.
That's what I was thinking. Thinking something doing a 10 or 11 till in 10 or 11 in the morning, something like that.
Well, I think that honestly, like both of you guys are very much geared towards like streaming now and stuff. Like it's become like breathing, man. And especially too like I did actually have a question for you, man. Is that with Twitch, you have found your lane. Like completely, man. Like it's really cool, like to be able to see that too. Like it's because it's the thing of that. It's like because you make content doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing like maybe the correct road that you should be on or whatever. But like, dude, like you've embraced it, man. Like it is without fail every day. I mean, you as well, man. Like both of you guys. Like it's really cool to see that it's like it's become something that is fun and it's just something that's like you. I don't know if it's like completely like financially like stabilizing and everything, but it's like, no, man, like you found something, it's like you found a crowd, you found your thing. Like what is that like for you, man?
It was weird at first because I obviously like I was on like the recording end of things and I just kind of like did it to kind of just like, honestly, I don't know why I did it again, but I just decided to. And I was just like, all right, this will kind of get the social game back up. This is going to get, like me getting back into the swing of things back up. And then I just kind of kept doing it, and then I was just like, all right, it's a lot easier. It's a lot less time consuming. It's a lot more genuine. And it's kind of just like a cool place to just listen to music and kick it, even just watching a show and kicking it, like it just, I can weirdly multitask a lot better in that area. I guess. Like I can hear everything going on the screen. Like I can dissect everything that's happening while also speaking at the same time. Weirdly, like I'll catch something and I'm like, oh shit, and then I'll talk about like the 60 seconds prior, and I don't know, like I don't know, it just like organically happened.
Well,
it's a really cool thing, you know. It's a really 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 cool thing.
It is, and like that's what we were talking about earlier too. Was, you know, because the fact of being YouTubers and then Twitchers, it's interesting the fact of like how it like flipped. Okay, so we have 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, and this like, I guess like I dare say kind of bigger following. He has, you know, like what, like 15,000, like what you have like 15,000 or something like that on Twitch. On YouTube.
I have less than 10K.
That's right.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have less than 10K.
Yeah.
Either way, what I'm getting at is, and then the fact of like going over to Twitch, he's got this bigger following in a sense of like a consistency and a daily and, you know, things like that. And it's like, dude, that's wild that you jumped a platform. I'm on the same platform. I'm not getting the same subscriber count that he's getting.
Right.
His subscriber count's bigger than, you know, than mine is as far as even the following comparison. So like I have a bigger following, but he has a bigger subscriber count. It's fucking crazy, dude.
So I think what a lot has to do with that, because I've also noticed on yours, your follower shit is like consistently growing, dude. Like one day you're at like 600 and then the next fucking day you're at like 820 something. I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude. Like people are just following nonstop.
But the view difference, what I'm saying, the view difference with you is different. Like you get a bigger view count, like on a regular than even I do. That's what I'm saying. Like you have, like we were saying, you honed into something, man.
Yeah.
So I owe a lot of that to the general audience that's actually like in the chat that's watching, because when I first started, like even like every day when I first started doing this like on a more consistent basis, it was just like music every day. I would take requests as they go. That got a little bit tiring, but that's also where you came in. We're like, hey man, do 20 songs, two songs a piece, and I've kept that algorithm going. Like I've kept that going. Now, what I think also attracts the crowd, so to speak, and this is kind of like the recipe to the whole thing, I guess, if there is one, is every day I do something different.
Yeah.
Every day there's like, so for example, Music Monday, that's all MISC music. Like anything that you want to put in, 2 songs a piece in the Discord. List closes at 11:30. I go live around 12 to 12:30. Tuesdays is TV Tuesday. We watch Schitt's Creek, anything TV related. Wednesday is the theme stream. Right now we're doing the 2010s days. You know, for 3 weeks we do like 2010s music. So like anything from 2010 to 2019. Thursday is a no stream day because I do the We Are Wrestling podcast that day and anything else that might come in between. Friday is Film Friday. We watch a movie together. Saturday's off. Sunday's game night.
Wow, dude, it's and what's really interesting too is that like I know that the from like our first conversation we even had like off camera and everything that, you know, you talked about like how euphoric it was to be able to talk to us, but like dude, like we feel the same way, and we kind of joked even before the podcast where it was like, man, like the first time we interviewed you, I was so nervous, and I don't know why. It was like, I don't know if it was just like an off day, and I remember like getting off and being like, or off of the podcast and be like, dude, like, were you really nervous the whole time? And I was like, yeah, what the fuck, dude? Like it was weird, but like what I'm getting at is that whenever you've done the music reactions on Twitch, when I've put a song in on Discord, I get so fucking excited because like, I'm just like, oh my God, I sent him Buried Alive. I can't wait to see what he thinks. Or I send him like, you know, this or this. And it's like, I know that I try to give you something maybe that's going to be completely off the beaten path, but like, it's weird that it's like we've been on that other side of the coin for so long of being reactors that like being an audience member for a change is it's so nice, dude. Right. It's so cool to be able to see you react to shit on there live. Like it's just God, it's that dopamine release of like, oh, he smiled when I did. You know, it's so good.
So imagine the chubs when Eric finally listens to a song on stream and I'm like, oh fuck yeah. Do it again.
Well, but like going back to the whole stream thing, like, you know, I've got to this point to where like, you know, my streaming is more so at night. So my gaming and movies and stuff, like it's a little sporadic, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm like trying to follow a little bit more of a formula, and, you know, but at the same time, you know, Kyle and I wanting to do, you know, like once or twice a month, the live reactions on Twitch. Like it's finding your own lane, because we've talked before, and I think that's where you finally, I think, unclenched a little bit when you're like, oh, okay, I'm not. When you're like, I don't want to copy you. I'm like, there's no copying anybody.
Yeah.
There's
Bro,
no,
we copied so many people to do what we do.
The formula has been made decades ago to where you just make it your own thing now. Like if you would have giant cups and taglines not like directly ripping off, there's a difference.
Right. Yeah.
Having themes or different same times of days or like, things like that's just being smart.
Dude, it's so creative, man. It's like when you're able to finally like spread your wings in a big arena and go, oh my God, I can get flight. Like I'm catching the thermals. Like I can coast. I can do this. I can enjoy it. Like, dude, I know for me where it's like, I probably feel the same way too, but it's like watching you do it. But like, dude, I'm like a proud dad, dude. It's so fucking cool to see you just flourish, man. It's so wild.
Right. That's why I was saying like the difference between YouTube, his YouTube path and his Twitch path. I was like, thank God, like, because he doesn't suck at this.
No.
Like, what do you mean, man? Like, I couldn't figure out why his following just wasn't happening on YouTube. And it's like you said, I think he's built for Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like you just honed into something, man, and people really were like receptive to it and they just kind of flocked to it.
Yeah, I think I also enjoy streaming a lot more and doing a lot more live things because a lot of people, and I know that like, you guys have gotten it too, especially in your comment section, like, oh, that's a fake ass reaction, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, now you get to see it live. Now you get to see it live, unfiltered, uncut, unedited. So it's like, it's a little bit more on the personal ground, and you get to, you get to be a lot more interactive. You get to make a lot of cool friends along the way, and you build like a sense of community. And I think that's another reason as to why I love Twitch so much, because again, another reason I think the following went down, the view count went down, the enjoyment of YouTube for myself went down was because I got typecasted, bro.
Yeah.
I got typecasted.
See, and like that's the thing too, is you actually said something just a minute ago about like, I think I like streaming more. Yeah, I think I do too. Like, I'm not going to lie, man. I think it's not work and it's not like I hate it, but I would rather sit and stream and do things than have to come record a Riker Road music reaction every Thursday. You know what I mean? Like when I do that, I'm like, fuck, what time is it? Am I going to get home in time to play? Like I've thought that, not every time, guys, but it's just like that is like the front of my mind now. And the detour. So like, that's still recording, but like, as far as like sitting down, like I want to sit down in real time and interact with people. That's why I like the fact that I do Patreon movie reactions, but I also kind of don't like it because I want to do it live like he does and have that real time interaction. I just watch movies now that I've already seen and shows I've never seen on Twitch. That's the thing. Like, because I see how like much fun you have, like when you're legit, like when you're going through like I'm not watching it, but like when you're going through Schitt's Creek, you can have that person commenting back to you as that thing happened. It's different than watching and still talking to a screen when it's already been recorded. So
some of the most joyous moments of my streaming anything was going through all of Mike Flanagan's stuff. So like Haunting a Hill House, Blind Manor. That was some of the funnest shit I think I've ever done like on the platform because everybody was so interactive. It wasn't just like, we talk and we shoot the shit, we chat and, the whole group chat on, on Twitch and everything. But like people were like, we're talking about, the show. They're talking about like, again, the big thing is me jumping, and my fucking anime. Fuck, like that's like the ongoing fuck yeah of the whole thing is, and it's people enjoy it, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much is because I think the biggest thing that a lot of people don't talk about with being a content creator that everybody can collectively agree with. I mean, obviously you guys probably can't relate because you guys have each other, but a lot of singular content creators are very lonely during the process. Very lonely. I mean, it's nice having an audience.
It is. And like, I've noticed the difference between Twitch because it's basically by myself. And then when like we go on, every other Friday or like sitting here and recording something or, the podcast, it is, he's right. It can get, lonely because I'm just sitting out in my sunroom with a pair of headphones on. Now, granted, Rage or Evans half the time talking back and forth, but they're not in front of you. You can't see their face because I've got my stream pulled up to watch, to read chat and do things. and then everybody else is just texting. Like you are by yourself, like even when you are around people.
Well, I think it's interesting too, because like, I mean, we've talked about it, like, you know, kind of like glossed over with some things, like when we've talked about like, you know, Riker Road starting, you know, and, you know, kind of like, oh, like we wanted to make videos and this and this. And I know that at that time of my life, and especially in yours too, was that, you know, we were living together, and then it was also like we needed something to fucking do, because I know for like I can only speak for myself where I was at, but it's like I was aggressively depressed. I was, you know, feeling hopeless with a lot of things, and like I was starting over, and, you know, it was like, you know, being, you know, freshly divorced, and then it was also like, you know, the house is different now and everything, and then, you know, changing this room and just like, you know, having that companionship through it was crazy. Like looking back, I don't know if I would have been able to do it on my own, or if you would have been able to do it on your own, like for the emotional, like aspect of things, because it was like, we had a lot of bullshit happen as far as like, you know, tech not working and things like that, which, I mean, the fact that we can record anything now, like especially a gaming video, which was a nightmare when we were first doing it, but like, you know, like now it's just we figured it out, and we got there together, and it's really wild. Like I sometimes lose that perspective of that, you know, like with you, and then, you know, like with even like No Life Shack and like these other guys, that it's like they've grinded on their own. You have to figure it out on your own, right? And it's just nuts, man. Like it makes me tip my hat to you, man, because it's something that, you know, especially being able to find streaming and everything, where it's like, it's not that you don't have good people around you or whatever, but when you're spending, you know, 6 hours a day, or you're doing something where it's like, no, that is time away from your family. That is time away from doing, like, maybe it's like, no, you want to crochet or you want to do these other things. Like, no, I'm here right now. You know, and it's like, and especially when it's not a good day and it's like, and you have to do it anyway, you know, it's just,
that's usually when I freak out on tech.
Right. So,
like that.
Fuck
like,
bullshit.
That during like when it's like, again, not a good day, you know, like there's been like a couple times where I'm like, dude, I want to pull the plug on this today, you know, but that's also where it comes in handy, because again, you have this like sense of, you know, community, you know, and it almost gives you something to look forward to, because again, it makes it not so, you know, solo anymore. So that's like, that's another reason as to why I love it so fucking much. And that's why I'm almost like, I kind of let the, you know, the fuck you YouTube flag fly constantly, because like I genuinely feel that way now, you know, like it's unfortunate that, you know, it took 4 years out of my life that, you know, I could have been doing this instead. You know?
Building this platform. Yeah.
And it sucks that, you know, I kind of left almost 10K subs on the table. But at the end of the day,
they could have followed you to Twitch.
They could have followed me to Twitch. But, you know, like it's not about the financial aspect, but even financially, like I've gotten paid consistently every month for the last 5 months by Twitch, where I've only ever seen maybe 2 smaller checks from YouTube over my entire 4 years of doing it. So it's like, you know, like it's rewarding in those ways, but like even just the craft itself on Twitch is so much better. The air is so much cleaner. You know, you don't have to deal with like really negative comments. You know, you have mods in real time. Yeah.
Do you know what? Because I think what I've really figured out is that not that you can't find these things, but I think the reason why negative comments, other than the cheap views on this channel that comes through, is, that's what I was saying. They could have followed him to Twitch. That wasn't a dick thing to say, but I'm just saying, like, they could have followed you to Twitch, but like, it's the fact of people really only watch you when they follow you. You don't really fall into like a surfing the Twitch, like, you know, kind of algorithm. So everybody that's there, I would argue almost 99% of the time is somebody that likes your channel. So they're not going to be dicks, you know, or whatever. So I do like that. But like you were saying, you could have been grinding on the, you know, the last 4 years and had 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 subs on Twitch now instead. And so I get it, man. We're like, it's that, you know, he was just saying about that time away from your family and stuff, where it's like, you know, what is a healthy amount of time? And when I broke it down, and the fact of I have coffee time in the morning for 2 hours, and for about 2 to 3 hours I play, you know, or whatever at night, that's like 5 hours out of my 9-12 hour day. That's pretty decent. That's not bad, but it's still time away. And when it's not rewarding like it was for you, especially on YouTube, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And it's, I think more so in the fact of you almost probably like us, like you almost feel like you're letting yourself down and letting other people down because like, what am I doing wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, is it my face? Like, it's like, do I not sound good? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like to shine some perspective on like, the end, I guess you could say like where I kind of pulled the plug, YouTube and like, coinciding in loneliness and, just, all the time away, the hours you put into it, getting copywritten, like that took a toll on my mental health.
Sure.
That took a massive, like I took a fucking swan dive, like real bad. And you can see around the time, like I started, for example, my Ren reactions, and mind you, for a long time, I was pumping out like 6 videos a fucking day every day.
God.
Like that's wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And I was doing that every fucking day for whatever reason. And like, it was growing substantially, but I'm like, dude, and everything that it took out of me, I was just like, at this point, you could see the contrast from when I started until where I ended. And I clearly like was not fucking happy. Like I was just clearly just like, this is clearly a
It's
job.
work. Yeah.
This is work. This is fucking depressing. I'm not even like in this clearly. And like, it just, I took months away, like months. I think I uploaded my last upload in like August of 2023. It took months away, came back around November, did like a quick live stream, did a couple more videos. And then after that, I was just like, yeah, I think I'm done because then I found Twitch and then it's been thriving ever since. But yeah, dude, YouTube, because I was solo, because, like everything I worked really hard on just kind of it wasn't behaving well. Like nothing really was, unless it was a certain artist or it was a certain, X, Y, and Z. Like nobody was ever really kind of showing up for the things I was passionate about anymore. So I was just like, I didn't know what I was doing after a while. And then I made one video and then I found Coffee Time. And then all of a sudden from Coffee Time, I did YouTube gaming. People from Coffee Time started coming over.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Twitch.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
I mean, and that, like, dude, that's what's wild is like, in the fact of how things evolve. Like Coffee Time was an accident. Me being up at straight up and down was an accident, putting me in. I'm like, why did I get so many more people on live? And then you had this light bulb. You're like, well, you're vertical. You're in the shorts algorithm.
Right.
I had immediately gotten kicked off of Twitter of TikTok.
God, that was such a blessing in disguise. But
I was already vertical and went, fuck it. Let's just go on. Let's see what YouTube does. So I was already, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people.
Holy fuck.
It was like a lot. Like my first 2 Coffee Times, 10,000 and 20,000 views I had in 2 hours.
it was stupid, dude.
It was, and I was like, what the fuck? But it was a complete accident, and it just evolved into something different. And then I went, well, I can have coffee in the mornings for 2 hours. I got no, what else am I doing? What else am I really doing? So it just kind of slowly, same with like your Twitch, where it's like, it's weird how it went from, music every day. And then now you're like, well, now it's movie Monday, and then it's theme Thursday. Like it's all these things to where you found that, like, you're like, oh yeah, let's do it like this.
Well, I think that it's kind of a remnant of what Robert De Niro says to Bradley Cooper in Limitless, when, it's like, Bradley Cooper, takes the drug that makes him super smart, and he's just, hitting triples, and it's like he, is working in stocks and stuff. And there was a line that Robert says that was really interesting when he said, you didn't do the 10 years in that first failed marriage to have the experience of this business. He's like, you didn't climb up all the greasy rungs. Like you didn't, you didn't stay in the wrong marriage with the woman that had the right father that got you in, in different things, where it's like, that's kind of how I view, like, especially like your situation too. And I think like with my personal frustrations with YouTube, I think that, ultimately in the future, it'll be nothing but greater. But like, dude, like you grinded, like you put that time in, man.
Right.
Like, you spent time in that wrong marriage, and you learned a lot from it, where it's like, now it's like, I don't have to edit. Dude, fucking great. It's like, woo. It's like I feel so much more free, like so much more freedom now. Like, it's like, I get the frustration of like being like, man, I wish I would have, but I kind of look at it in the way of that, as much as I identify with that, it's like, no, man, like, thank God you did.
Yeah.
because it's like now it's like I think that especially for both of you, man, like it's like you guys appreciate, the simple things a lot better rather than like I started streaming and it just worked. I'm a god, it's like that type
Right.
of, like because I think it's a lot of where like a lot of arrogance where people come in because it's like it's so simple and people love me and it's like, well, no, man, like it's like there's more to it, it's like you need to not be a piece of shit too,
Exactly, because like I mean we kind of a sense had that where it was like it just worked and people liked us, but we didn't just have boom 30,000 subs.
No.
We had all the lights and the cameras and the backgrounds and all this stuff. We still had to grind. Just because you buy $10,000 worth of equipment doesn't mean people immediately follow you.
No, you just get Neil Breen whenever you do that. So it's like
Right. But like that's the thing is that like I think it really is. I think it does show for people like us and Rage, and the two lits and all this stuff that the grinding is how you stay humble.
Yeah.
I think is what it is that you know just as well as we do that like shit days happen or this could be taken away at any moment. Something just might not, platforms just die sometimes. Like it's like it just happens, or we're like, fuck, Ronnie went from Twitch now to Kick. Because he's like, they don't treat their people as well as they do on Kick. So like there's all kinds of stuff, but it's just the fact of there's a difference between people like Rage and us, and then some of these, like you said, more arrogant. What is his name? The guy that was being prosecuted.
Oh, Dr. Disrespect. Yeah.
No, not Disrespect. Onision.
Oh, Onision. Oh, yeah.
Like you said, people with these like big heads and stuff like that, and arrogant, and like my life is YouTube. No, the fuck, it's not.
No, you do YouTube every now and then. It's like that type of thing. Yeah.
But yeah,
like I ever said, like if I ever fucking hit the lottery or for whatever fucking reason, God's like, hey man, you're famous as fuck now. Like I don't get people that are so airheaded and like just so fucking high on it. Like I just have a big bank account, but a lot more responsibilities and no fucking private time. Like
and a lot more bills
I'm
now.
gonna be a grouchy bitch, dude. Like I'm a grouchy bitch now. I'm gonna be an even grouchier bitch and fucking when I'm rich, dude.
Yeah.
So like I don't understand people that change for that shit. Like I don't understand people that like get so high on themselves after they've, hit some kind of like decent success. I don't think I'd ever change, I don't think I'm not one of those like money would change me kind of guys.
Right.
I never thought that,
Well, I think it also comes to like even like how we grew up too, where it was like, nah, man, cinnamon toast with butter, was a delicacy, like or that was like dude. Like, where it's like it's all we had though, it's like things like that, like it's just you never lose that perspective, You
don't, and like that's the thing is that people even still now like where they're like, oh my God, you're famous. We're like, we are not famous, dude. And
I can go get groceries.
Right, we're not even famous in our hometown, but like again, we talk about this a lot, but people have this like false perspective of it, and it's like, and people are like, oh my God, you never left I've heard people like, you never left your hometown because I'm not. What do you mean?
We can't. we can't leave.
The money never changed Riker Road. What money? Like
money. I just get to stay home now.
Yeah, right. I just get to stay home. Exactly. But like, no, I get it, man. Like, I think we would be the same way to where, you would like to think that money and things like that wouldn't change you. But like, I really think it wouldn't because we're very simple people to begin with.
Yeah.
We have expensive toys, sure, but we're pretty simple people. Like we don't really do much.
I mean, say that in a crowded fucking incarceration fest now, man.
Well, see
that in a crowded incarceration.
Well,
now, man.
See, that's the thing that actually kind of does scare me is that it's like because like the last time we went was at 20,000 subs. And it was like
noticed.
I will say that the interactions that we had, like I would like in the grand scheme of the entire day and night, like they were brief, but it was just kind of like, man, like taking our ladies to a concert and like or either that or like a group of friends or whatever, like is this going to get out of control, like is it this or that or whatever, like again, like I still want to go to concerts. I mean, I love music. I want to have that experience, but it's something that like every once in a while it'll pop up and I'm just like, oh fuck, like it's like
hometown heroes,
it's like and I know it sounds stupid, but it's like does that mean that we have to get a VIP room that way we can have peace? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
Like, it's
Get
like
your own porta potty.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, there were these awesome porta potties at a wedding that I went to. That dude, it was like they had like green
Luxurious.
LEDs on the outside. And-
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. And when you walked in, it was like a super clean like hotel bathroom that just had every toiletry
Yeah.
that you could ever imagine. Dude.
I've
It was
seen
so
them.
incredible.
So, when you flush the toilet, is there like a disco ball that fucking drops down?
That's the only thing it was missing. That was the lights would dim and shit.
Hell yeah.
Starts playing like, lock the door.
So, excuse me, I am vibing. I'm having a great time. I've pushed it. Now I'm washing my hands and dancing.
Dale's been in the bathroom for 20 minutes. We can't leave. Trying to get out of here. Parking's terrible.
No, that was if we're gonna do that, it's like no. I'm like I want to get proper bathrooms like that.
Yeah,
If there's ever a time that we're gonna be filthy rich, that's the thing I'm gonna put it in. Put all my money into is to make sure we can excrement ourselves properly.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
Instrument ourselves properly. Just
Speaking
the
of-
flyest bathroom you'll ever fucking see. Just
I have
have a
to.
minute.
I have to pee.
You have
So
to pee,
I,
pee?
I didn't know how much longer you were wanting to stay on.
I'd probably chill for a
Your
little
thing,
bit
bro.
more. So
So-
yeah, go ahead and take a pee, man.
Do
No,
your thing, dude.
but no, man, it's just it's interesting just because like I know that him and I will never have that kind of an experience of like accepting that people think that we're famous just because like
Yeah.
like the nights that we have like kitchen talked and stuff, like when he's made like chicken in the frying pan, it's like we don't get like fancy plates and stuff. We stand in there, we smoke joints, and we pick them out with our fingers and just eat fucking meat. It's like we're not high class by any means whatsoever. And it's very interesting when people have that kind of a perspective. It's just so
It's
odd.
just once you step in the right room, then then it can get nuts. That's why I'm saying like I almost kind of like I'm almost interested as to how that's gonna go. Like I'm almost intrigued because if you got stopped at 20K, bitch, you guys are at you guys are past 300 now. So it's gonna be an interesting experience.
Well, it's even like one of the interactions that I've talked about it a lot, but like it was so cool how this girl did it was that she walked up to him. Now, mind you, this was less, hair, and it was.
I was fat.
No, he was a bigger boy. But he had you had like your sunglasses and stuff. And I remember like I went to go get a beer or something, and I was walking back, and this woman came up behind him and just patted his shoulder and went, "Are you enjoying your apple juice?"
And just kept it going.
And you were like, "Yeah." She went, "Good." And we never saw her again. Like never saw her again. It was just like,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like, hey, if you're out there, let us know. So, but it was just kind of
That's
like
fucking awesome.
But no, it's a weird perspective just because like, especially like when you guys have talked about streaming and everything, is that like I do enjoy going live, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those that, man, like I enjoy just making content, like it's
Yeah.
like, because even like last night, like, doing the scary story thing, like I needed certain sound effects that I couldn't find like anywhere that was going to do it specifically. So it was like, all right, well, I'm going to make up my own Foley thing. I'm going to put the mic down here on the small table and I'm going to make like, smacking sounds.
Right,
or
yeah.
do stuff like that. And like seeing that magic, like that's the part of like YouTube that makes me really excited is like, oh my God, like there was nothing. And then I made a thing.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
something, it's just,
Yeah.
that's the part that like, I think trumps everything for, for content creating for me or like having an online presence, it's just so much fun.
Could you imagine going live then from like a film set of a short film?
Oh
That'd be
God,
fucking
yeah.
lit.
dude.
That'd be fucking lit. That's
I
some
want it so
different
bad.
Shit. That'd be some different shit, dude.
What's because I know that there's because especially with you like making your short films and things like there's been some ideas and like different like small scenes that I've wanted to write where I'm like, man, like it's like, could we like actually get like a set going? Could we like, actually like
Yeah.
try to like be like, nah, man, like I gave you your lines 3 months ago, learn the character or whatever. Now you
right.
show up, we are prepared. Like
Yeah.
that type of a thing. Like I've done the run and gun guerrilla thing of like, oh, just make up lines as we go. It'll be great. And then you get it in post and you're like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
So, but
Fuck me.
but in the same hand, like that's the stuff that like I'm excited to have that spark again, where it's like, digging out the DSLR and just being like, all right, man, let's just shoot some cool like focus pulls or like shoot a simple conversation or different things like that. Like I really miss filmmaking, so I think that's why the Scary Stories channel just exists, because it's like it's a way that I can express myself.
Sure, some
in
kind of
that
way.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's something like I've been itching to dive back into so bad lately is filmmaking, because I feel like that's like what's missing in my soul right now, because like I love streaming, like I love making content. I love, all of the above X, Y, and Z. If it's something that's like theatrical, sign me up,
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing I'm missing right now is like diving into projects like that, you know, like getting in front of a camera in a different way again, telling a story, you know, and, you know, just having that, you know, that world to sink my teeth into again. I have plenty of filmmaker friends up here. It's just like sparking that idea again. That's like really invigorating. That really, you know, doesn't need a lot of effects. Like even later, you know, like lately rather, you know, I've been focusing on the nitty gritty, you know, like I've been focusing on street level shit. Like even like movies that I've been watching lately have been a lot more street level. You know, they haven't been like these like fucking epics or, you know, Michael Bay explosions or, you know, tons of CGI. Like I've been falling back into like the nitty gritty of things, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it's really like it's where filmmaking can shine, man, because, you know, it's like when you look at something as like so condensed as like Saw, where it's like, no, like it's in one room or not to spark up claustrophobia, but like Buried or like these other movies where it's like, they're so simple and it's like, damn, like character, story, like, you know, like score, you know, just emotion, like that's what, you know, really makes a movie happen. You know, right. It's just, it's some of my favorite movies have been like smaller things, you know, it's like Reservoir Dogs. Like it's such a simple movie.
Never seen it.
Oh, dude, it's phenomenal. Dude, you'll love it.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh my God, dude. Oh, yeah. I can't judge too much because I was a late bloomer on that one too. Cause I was like, oh, I love filmmaking. And somebody was like, oh, well, Reservoir Dogs. I was like, oh, I haven't seen it. They're like, no, you're a poser, you know? So like, I felt like I had to, but yeah.
Dude, I get it. Like me and Ash, like eventually we're going to be watching the Goonies for my first time soon. So,
what the fuck?
Know. What?
Yeah. See? Yeah.
Holy shit.
I gotta go.
So are you guys going to do that just for yourselves or are you going to do that online?
You need to do that online. I'm sorry. You got to do it. Nah, dog. Some things are for you, but you had 40 years to have that for yourself. You get to experience it with motherfuckers now. No, I refuse.
If anything else, can you just put a Ring camera in your house for that night so we can see it?
Nope, it better be full-on Shure microphones, fucking focus cameras. Better have popcorns.
Oh shit!
Well, yeah, that's something that can definitely be discussed because it already took like a couple months of preparation. Like this month, at the end of this month, I finally convinced Ash. We're going to be setting up in front of the couch and we're going to be watching the entire season of Squid Game season 2.
Oh my God.
So that's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to where I can get the Netflix to work and stuff right, or get the app, the people to download. Cause I want to go through Squid Game. And then when it comes out, go through with people on. Yeah.
It's just so good. It's so incredible.
We're going to tackle either the full season in one day, which is like fucking 10 hours, or we're going to do one half of the season one day. And then the very next day, the second half.
Kind of what I was thinking about doing as well. Like try to get it in like 2 days, like 2 or 3 days maybe. So we'll be doing the same shit.
Well, especially too, like I remember like you and I watching it, you know, I mean, even before like I don't know if the channel was a thing then or not.
No.
But I remember that it was already like pushing like 1 a.m. when we were watching one of the episodes, and it was Tug of War when it was like everybody 1, 2, 3, and then it just cut to, you know, the credits, and we were like, it's late. Oh God, fine, I'll wait till tomorrow.
I'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, Squid Game, that was actually a show that like reinvigorated like what if I were to like, you know, call somebody like, hey, let's pick up a camera and do something fucking nuts. Like that was like the one thing that I was like, dude, I miss shit like this. I miss shit. Like one of the best movies I've ever seen. It was low budget as fuck. I don't know if you guys may have seen it. It was called 9 Dead.
I've heard it. What was it? They're all handcuffed.
They're all handcuffed.
Yes, yeah, dude, solid
like,
movie.
Why are you here? All of you guys have to figure out why all of you guys are in this, what part you have to play in the story, and then I'll fucking turn myself in. Then he's like, but until then, everybody's gonna die every like hour or something like that.
Because
like, dude,
what I thought was interesting was that I think that they try to like call his bluff, and he ends up blowing one of the. It's like near the beginning, but he blows one of the dude's brains out, and he was like, remember, he's like, you have to figure out why he was here too.
Yeah,
and he just leaves.
Even though
it's
he's
like
dead,
you have like 12 hours or whatever it is. Yeah, dude, it's
he's like, even if he's dead, you have to figure out what the fuck he did.
That's wild.
It was such a good movie. It had fucking Sabrina the Teenage Bitch in it. A couple other bigger names were also in it too. And I was like, this is kind of stacked. Yeah, and it was like a low budget like indie horror.
Yeah. It was very well done, man.
See, and that's where like I can see you're giving me ideas for Patreon and stuff. Because like I said, I I don't stream movies that I haven't seen, but like, you know, other than shows or what, I do stuff that I haven't seen, but like, yeah, movies. So, all right.
I'm telling you now, if I know you correctly, you are going to fucking fawn over that movie, dude. It is a phenomenal, like, I've noticed that indie films genuinely try. Try, and it's like it all takes place in one fucking room. Like, there's no broad spectacle. They're all just handcuffed, and then you see flashbacks of things and like how everything coincides, and even the twists are fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, they're nuts.
Now I gotta watch this shit. Speaking of streaming, I'm gonna have to end up getting out of here myself.
Yeah.
It's actually almost 8:15.
Yeah, so actually we'll go, because I wanted to go ahead and bring us to a soft landing. So just to kind of finish this up, man, is that as far as like Twitch and everything is concerned, like to just, you know, bring us to a to an end here, is that what are your plans for Twitch? What are you excited for? What do you have next for the audience?
That's a very specific question. Just overall growth. You know, like I'm gonna try to, like, you know, kind of spice things up a little bit. Like I'm trying to work on like the alerts and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not a fucking Evan, so I can't figure things out like right on the fly. So I'm trying to figure out stuff like that. Kind of try to, you know, make things a little bit more interactive, a little bit more fun. You know, try to figure out other things to do other than just, you know, sitting here. Maybe we can like broaden the spectacle a little bit. You know,
I get it.
I want to like get into like vlogging, I guess, if that makes sense too. So like, you know, I might do some things on YouTube. I want to do a lot more like voiceover work and stuff, even live, you know, on Twitch, like while I'm putting this, you'll see the scene that I'm recording.
Yeah.
And then like the camera's going to be pointing at me as I'm like redubbing a scene or like, you know, stuff like that. Eventually, like I wanted to start doing like, you know, a tattoo live on Twitch. Like that'd be fucking sick as fuck.
Oh, God.
You know, so those are some things that I'm looking forward to doing, you know.
Hell yeah.
Dude, it's just it pumps me up so much, man. It's awesome to call you a friend and to also call you a fellow, partner in crime and stuff when we're doing things. I can't wait to get you on a scary story and do some good stuff.
I'm gonna go home and play video games with him.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna party up after this. So, but as always, I usually have the show end with Eric saying something, but right now, man, it is your time. You can tell the audience anything you want to say. What do you want to tell the audience before we officially sign off until next week?
If the river runs red, you shall try the other hole instead. Bingo! That's all I got, man.
That was good.
Oh my
that was
God.
good.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. Rager, thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Take it easy, guys.
Later.
Adios.